How's it going, guys? My name's R7 Big Timer. Welcome back to the Road to Iridescent series. Today I've got can I carry this team to a win? That is the question. Obviously this is a randoms game, so I don't actually know these people, and it seemed like an interesting one from the start. They wanted to land living quarters, which I didn't have an issue with. I'm more than happy landing living quarters, but to be fair, I can't really say too much bad about this team. They managed to stay alive in the moments where it mattered. That was the main thing. So if you could do that in the Resurgence Ranked, that's all that really matters, is trying to stay alive until, like, in them crucial moments, you want to be alive until your teammates respawn. Because obviously, I've started at -85 in this game, so it's not ideal. Obviously, you need to have a fair few kills before you end up going positive, and it depends on your placement as well. So fortunately in this game we managed to get quite far in the game considering the team that we had. So there's a few clutch moments in this game. Like, I was very happy with a few kills in the game, so hopefully you guys enjoy them clips, and yeah, hopefully you'll learn a thing or two from this game, and I'll try and give you some tips as we go along the way. So we didn't really get off to the best start here, so this was a little bit sus. I wasn't too sure how he got me through the tents there, considering there was no live ping. Like, don't get me wrong, I know you can wallbang them tents, but it seemed like every shot he hit there, so a little bit odd, but we'll leave that to Ricochet to deal with, see if that is actually the case. But yeah, so we didn't get off to the greatest start, so we're going to do a little bit of a regain in actual living quarters at the moment. I believe I pick up an FFAR and a ABR, I believe. So things start to pick up a little bit from here. It'll start to get a little more intense in the gameplay, but it's one of them things. You kind of need to pace yourself and stay alive as long as possible, because, as I said, having the most amount of SR in this game is the most important thing. If you guys just saw, that's one of the, well, two of the kills which I was going on about, and then the third person is still below us, so I'll give him a cheeky challenge. I didn't hit any shots there. Fortunately, the teammate was there to help, so he did come in clutch. I really can't complain in that situation. It did help having that teammate right there. As I said in the last video, if you need any like tips, one of them would be to stay close to your teammates, because the more you stack, the more likely you are to get them type of trades where even if they do down one of you, you still have the chance to get the down or get the kills. So it's one of them things, you need to work off the trades. It's not all about can the whole team stay alive. Sometimes someone has to be sacrificed, and unfortunately sometimes it might have to be you, sometimes it might have to be me. It is what it is sometimes, like, but as long as you get the trade and you keep that SR rolling, that's the main thing. That's all you really want to do in this game mode. A little bit of a sticky situation here, so we're stuck between two people. I know that there's one person on the balcony and there's another person that's quite close to me in the little hut things. So we're going to take the person that's closest to us. That's going to be the easiest fight, so we'll deal with him, and then I think we push back, or oh no, our teammate ends up dealing with the person that's on the balcony, like on the gun turret edge. So that worked out very well for us. So fortunately, we managed to stay alive in that situation. We keep living quarters, and we just kind of keep this one area, because you don't really need to move from it. We're pretty center zone at this point, so fortunately for us, it didn't mean we had to move or try and rotate early or anything. It was just one of them things where we could just stay here, rack up kills, and get as much money and SR as possible. Because if you didn't know in ranked, like, you want as much money as possible so you can constantly keep people coming back. It's not so bad in Resurgence, because obviously you have the Resurgence timer, but if you're playing in the big map, you want to have as much money as possible so you can constantly get them reses, because you don't want to be at that disadvantage of being that team that's just a 2 or just a single person running around on the map, because when you come across 3 people, it's not a fair fight, and 9 times out of 10 you will lose. You see the top 250s losing them situations. It's just one of them things. Unfortunately, you're outgunned and you just need to get as many people back as possible. So my recommendation for playing any ranked mode is, if you do have teammates down, just try and stay alive, try not to panic too much and try and get them back, because as I said, the more people you have on the map, the better situation you're in, because it's more firepower. So the firepower is all you really want. I had a little bit of a mare there because I've just changed to a scuff controller and I have a scuff in vision, so I've got my ping as it's like a left button on my controller, and it's a bit of an odd one. I tapped it but I held it down so it brought up the screen, so it's one of them things. Still getting used to the controller. I still find myself pulling my parachute in situations where I really shouldn't be pulling my parachute, but I do really like the scuff controller. If anyone has one or hasn't got one, I would recommend it, because it just makes things so much easier. You're not constantly having to take your hands off the analog sticks, and I find the mechanical analog sticks help so much with the aim, because with my old controller you get a lot of stick grip. This was a little bit of a dicey situation. I probably shouldn't have reach-outed there, but it worked out for us in the end, even though I did have the better gun for the situation, but it's just one of them fights that you don't really want to take. But fortunately it worked out for us and we managed to get the kill, and we've managed to wipe the whole team. So fortunately that's one team completely off the map. So that's another thing. In Resurgence, in public games, you don't really want to wipe teams. You kind of want to keep them around so you can get as many kills as possible. But in ranked, it kind of works the other way. Don't get me wrong, you want to keep people alive so you can farm them, but you also, if you have a chance to wipe a team, I'd wipe the team, because it's one less team to worry about for you, and it means you might get that little bit more SR depending on whereabouts you are in the match. Because say if you're in the top 11 teams at that point and you have a chance to wipe someone, you'll get a little bit of SR just from wiping that whole team, because that put you in a top 10 situation. So it's one of them things you need to weigh up what you want to do. If you're trying to get lots of kills, I probably wouldn't wipe the teams, but if you're thinking about placement, I would seriously consider wiping the teams, because as I said, one less team to worry about. It's just a lot less stress at that point. You don't have anyone landing in to get their guns, and the stressful situation of when they do land in, if they do get their guns, what happens if they kill you. So obviously you don't want that to happen. So obviously think about what's the best situation. If you're trying to get placement, I highly recommend wiping the team. So both teammates are dead at the moment, so the main thing is to stay alive, and if you didn't know, looting crates definitely speeds up the timer, and then if you're moving around it slightly takes down the timer. But obviously you want to loot the crates as quickly as possible, but don't put yourself in a bad situation. I probably shouldn't have went on the roof because of the amount of places that can look down on me and shoot me, but in that situation it worked out. It wasn't too bad, and I'm gonna push over here, try and get my loadout. I see someone on the back wall, so we're gonna take that fight. We managed to get the down there. I think I managed to get the finish, but I'm not too sure. I know his teammates are back in living quarters. It was one of them things where maybe I should have retreated here, because obviously I had a teammate to my right. I didn't really consider the fact of pushing in here. There was then going to be another team that pushes in beside me, because they pushed in from the buy station. Because I originally thought that was the team that was on the top, but apparently it was a team that rotated in from the buy. So unfortunately I got picked off in that situation, but it is what it is. they still managed to get back, and we managed to regain and get our guns back and get a few more kills in this situation. So fortunately it didn't end all bad. So if I was to do this situation again, I probably wouldn't land back here. It wasn't the smartest decision. I should have landed with yellow and been more in zone, but it was a do or die situation. Get a few more kills or go sit for placement. I knew that yellow was going to be alive, so he could still get us back if needed. It wasn't too big of a deal if I did die, but as I said, if I was to do it again, I wouldn't have landed here. So here's a learning point. Don't just go back for the sake of going back and for your ego, because 9 times out of 10 this is going to happen. I had a whole team to fight and it was just me, and as I said earlier, if you're outgunned, you're outgunned. You're not really going to win the fights unless you can separate them one by one, but in that situation there was no way of me being able to separate any of them fights without putting myself at a disadvantage. So yeah, learning moment is to go land with your teammates at that point. Don't just full send your guns and everything, but you live and you learn. Fortunately, both teammates are back at the moment. Green has managed to get enough money to buy me back, so that was a clutch moment for him. And at this point, I think I'm going to land on the roof. I don't see anyone up here, so it seems like a safe place to land. Obviously, I didn't want to stay out here for too long. I managed to get a crate and a Ladra, so you can't really complain with the Ladra. It's probably one of the best SMGs at the moment. But at this point, I thought it was better just to stay here. I can hear a lot of people moving around, and you'll see in a minute, you see someone pop around the doorway and they go through. There you go, they just went through. And that was a little bit of trigger discipline. As much as I wanted to shoot him and his teammate that just ran through, if I shot them, I probably was going to die. I'm not... See, as I said, I've just recently changed to a scuff, so I have a dedicated melee button. And it took my melee out just then, so it wasn't ideal, but fortunately I managed to get the kill. We managed to kill someone else below us, which got us a little bit more SR, so at the moment we're plus 29. Now I believe we're 75. Obviously we're in a top 3 situation, and we haven't got the greatest positioning at the moment. We're obviously on the low ground. There's someone behind us who's just shot me, and my hope was that the team above us was going to have to deal with him, which I think they did. So obviously we're in a top 2 situation now, and it wasn't the greatest situation for me, so unfortunately we came up short there, but it was still a good game considering it was a solo queued. But if you guys enjoyed the video, my name is R7 Big Timer. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you soon. Have a good one. Peace.